Well, decided to start a new project. Well, an old project that's being renewed. 78 F-150 Ranger. I also know that by the VIN number it is XLT. Had the fancy trim at the bottom, two-tone. This is, I don't know if this is original paint. Maybe, maybe not, don't know. But it's definitely not the right colors. It looks like a maroon and a gray. I believe it's supposed to be something like candy apples, red and silver. So it's the original scheme, I should say that. But got this. Uncle bought it when I was, I don't know, it was almost 20 years ago probably. He bought it as a blown up truck. Looks just like it is. Rebuilt the motor and they put it all back together and it became a farm truck. Sat for quite a few years. It got used and then kind of just didn't really get used because it wasn't necessarily needed. But show the inside here in a minute. Don't mind my power steering system there. She don't run right now. But he decided when I was 14, he's like, hey, you want the old farm truck? So I took it. Of course, what 14-year-old wouldn't want this awesome looking truck? Probably a year and a half or so took me to get it to, I say where it's at. This stuff right here is actually in the last 4 or 5 years that it's happened. Started to peel there and the body damage and stuff. That's, I guess you say, original. A little bit of rust on the roof. She's kind of a junk collector right now, don't mind that. But other than a few little dings where my uncle decided to dive off in a ditch chasing cattle with it and put the bed into the cab somehow, or at least that's what we're guessing. I don't know. Somebody backed into it with a tractor here, you know, not terrible, but looks like there actually has been some work there previously. I've never even noticed that before. There's a little Bondo there. But overall, pretty good, fairly straight truck. So like I say, I got it when I was 14, and I probably had a bigger budget than most 14-year-olds because I did, long story short, I worked a lot as a kid. So saved up, put quite a bit of money into getting this thing running. All new bushings, everything. All into, don't mind the change here. I just, like I said, don't run. I just drug it here. Everything under here it's pretty much unmessed with by me. I redid these bushing, the axle bushings here. Track bar bushing, did not do that, need to do that still, never did it. It's got new axle seals, changed out the fluids and stuff. New, rebuilt the four-wheel drive stuff over here, just kind of clean it up, get the seals, keep it from leaking, and checking everything. It's got a blown out U-joint there. That was the last time I drove it about, 7-8 years ago. It was, I had it in high school, so I drove it like a high schooler would and took it mudding most weekends and, of course, broke it. But for a 14-year-old who had no idea anything about vehicles at the time, I would say that I did decent on it. The biggest changes I did was the interior was just shot. So, I mean, it's been mudded on. It's got, I say when it's new, I say new is me 15, so 14 years ago, about 2007-ish is when I did most of this work. So these are brand new door panels, brand new seat cover, brand new carpet. It used to have the chrome and wood grain, but I didn't much care for that. Kind of match this. But I didn't much care for it, and I bought a parts truck, two-wheel drive version of the same truck pretty much. And so I had this, and so I took that out and swapped them over. I don't know if I'll put that back or not. New dash pad, which that lasted. Definitely, you see the fitment's not great. I've never liked how that worked out. But I did strip everything out and had it all repainted, candy apple red here. And that's one of those paint jobs I kind of got what I paid for. It was, my uncle knew a guy, and the guy he went to high school with, so decades ago. So it was like, oh yeah, I got a buddy, I'll give you a deal. Well, yeah, I got a deal, all right. Runs into paint. Just, it's not terrible. I mean, it's overall really good. If I hadn't pointed this stuff out to you, you probably wouldn't notice it just jumping in here. But bought these door panels black going to be a red truck, so I bought the spray and turned them red. Well, it turns out candy apple red looks real red next to rattle can red. So that was, probably should have left them black. If I ever redo it, I'll probably redo them black. But this is pretty much how I got it as far as colors and scheme. It's just all new stuff. But then, you know, as a high schooler does, and then somebody who has a truck that doesn't use it anymore, I got a different truck to, you know, be my daily driver to go to college, and this one just kind of got forgot about. Went home on Christmases and summers, and I'd jump it off and start it. It ran great, never had any problems at all with it other than just getting it started. The transmission was a little weird sometimes, but, I mean, it worked. It was a fun truck. I'd take it out, play in the mud for a couple of days, and then park it and come back in 6 months again. But that's why it's filthy. One of the first things is, well, actually here in a minute, I'm probably going to get the power washer out and just get after this thing. Headliner's starting to fall down a little bit now. It wasn't like that before. That's kind of upsetting. Also, I've even got brand new, what are these things called? Visors. There you go. This was the garage door opener to my mom's house 3 houses ago. So tells you how long it's been since I've drove it much. But that's pretty much it. Got this radio put in there. When I got it, the radio, somebody just hacked it. And the bracket that's back here, which if you've worked on these, you know there's a bracket that screws in up here, goes down. It's the AC unit kind of screws into it, and then the radio sits in it. Well, the stock radio being this wide fits great, but this one, it's about an 1/8 inch wider than this radio, so there's just a bit of a sliver of metal on either side holding that in. So I had to redo it because somebody didn't care about that sliver, and they just hacked it out, and this thing's always falling in and out and whatever. So redid all that. Let's see, we got any gems in here. Of course, fuses, because, you know, old junk always blows fuses. Oh, we got CDs. Sure, those are just quality. Some great music there from 2008. Some redneck kid from small town. Just other junk left in here. Like I say, this was my daily for 6 or 8 months before the brakes went out on it, and got a different truck, and then just happened to never drive it. It became a toy. Got I'm afraid to stick my hand back here. Oh yeah, we didn't get bit. My dad actually had gotten this for me when I was restoring it. Him and his buddy came up and helped me work through this, and got this and an amp over there. Well, it used to be there. This is a Pro Box. Had a Roxman Fosgate 10, P2 10, if you care about that, Alpine 400 amp. Then the Kenwood head unit. Had it all hooked together. This thing it'd make your stomach a little queasy if you got in here and cranked it up a lot, but had separate amp for the door speakers, all the 6x9s and everything around here. So, I mean, for what it was, you know, the typical high school kid with a $400 radio, or probably $500 or $600 radio, and a $200 truck. But it was fun. I actually still have this. Well, not the original. It's went bad since then, but basically the same exact setup. I took out of here, put it in another truck, and then put it in a different truck, and then put it into my current truck now. So it still lives on. We'll be putting that all back in there exactly how I had it back when I was driving it, because I loved the way this thing sounded. That's really about it for the interior. I'll try to see if I can find and maybe paste in some old pictures, but, you know, best camera from 2007. I probably had it on my cell phone, so I had about 13 pixels total for the entire picture, so you may or may not can see anything. I'll decide if I can get those in there or not. Well, it had all of this brand spanking new. I redid all the seals, everything, but I see now the sun has been a real butthead about this. So, you know, that's whatever. It's even cracked on the inside here, even though the windows were tinted, so I'm kind of surprised the inside really went that bad. I thought it kind of protected it, but oh well. You got custom vent visor, no squeak and rattle devices over here. It's a shock rag and some electrical tape in case you want to steal that idea. That's pretty much it. Gauges, you know, gas gauges, those are suggestions. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Who knows? This thing does have the factory dual tanks, and I'm gonna retain those if any way possible. I love these old trucks. Turn them into a flatbed, but this has got a rare bed. It's got this, and then it's got close the squeaky old thing. It's got the factory toolbox over here, which this isn't that rare necessarily. Yeah, it does. It needs. I'm just gonna ignore that. It does need more antifreeze. It's got a leak. It's got a, never mind. It's got a self-changing system installed. You just keep filling it up and it just keeps staying fresh. Got a rope because you never know when a cow or a goat's gonna get out. You know, back in the day, that was a real concern. Oof, like we're gonna need a, man, you can't find Doritos that crispy. Just gonna pretend we didn't see that. Close is nice. Still got the key, the lock and everything. As far as everything else though, I mean, I had this trim polished up real nice. Like, you know, the day that I started driving, you know, your 16th birthday, he's got to roll out looking good. Everything's got to be perfectly washed and shiny. And now I think its last bath was probably in about 2012. So 8-9 years ago. It's got a little stuff on it now. You can't quite see yourself anymore. Had the piece of trim over here. I'm going to guess that is, if it's not down in this crack somewhere, which I don't see it, then I'm going to guess that's probably somewhere in a pasture, maybe buried in some mud now. But I got a new fender liner in here. I say new to me. Got in here, got to mudding one time, threw a big log or something up here, broke it down and hung down. I didn't know what it was. I was trying to get what I thought was mud off and ended up ripping the whole fender liner. So I see now that was not installed very well. But hey, like I said, I was 16, 17. The grill, everything's in decent condition. It's got a little bit of dings and scratches over here. I don't understand this. It has classic written here too and a little badge. I don't know if that's factory or not. I've never really seen them. But as you see here, it's been kind of squished, but it's if you know about opening these hoods. So you kind of got to give it squeeze it. Hold on, I have to put you down for this. Let's see if I can hold you with my legs there. And give her the old smack. Then pull your wrist off trying to get it, but yeah. Oh, that's nice. There's rust falling out. Okay, we're just gonna, yeah, no, I didn't see that. This little thing over here is pretty nifty. It's always been on the truck. Don't know if it's factory or not. It's dirty as hell, but it's a little light there, retractable. Got a whole fun story about that. I'll tell at some other point, but yeah, got everything under here is pretty much original. Back when I got it running, I got a new carburetor on it. Believe it's got a new coil and wires, because one time we may or may not have caught this on fire. Really unfortunate story there. But this whole area got put out with a water hose, and we got new electronics. That little box over there got replaced. It's junk. I believe that. I don't know. I don't know much about these trucks, because last time I worked on it, it was a long time ago. Whole new brakes and everything. Actually, didn't even put that back on there. That's nice. Little clamp there. But it goes through power steering pumps about as often as you go through a tank of fuel. I just now got under there a while ago hooking up chains and stuff, realized that there is a bad line. So, wow, how many of those I replaced because I had a leak in my hose. But I had the AC hooked up, had this wonderfully rigged up bracket tree system here. I think this is at like 84 or something, and then I did some stuff and some things and got it running. Put your hand about a half an inch away from the vent. She blew ice cold for a good solid 12 hours probably. But yeah, a foot away from the vent, you were sweating. You did not want to roll the windows up in this thing, because there's a lot of heat coming to the floorboards too. Even though you got insulation in the carpet, but whatever. We may or may not get to that before too long on this. That's down the line of, Dynamat and some insulation, things like that. Try to make the inside a little more driver friendly. Let's see what else we got here. Well, when I tried to get it running, I grew up, became a big boy, moved off, and got my own house. So I decided, I'm going to bring this up here, and for the first time ever, it didn't want to run. And it was fuel. It couldn't get fuel, or it wasn't getting any fuel. So replaced the pump, wasn't that. Cleaned out the lines, went through about 17 of those little bitty clear filters over there. And you can't see it, but there's another one down there, and it's also completely filthy. It's just absurd how nasty that gas was. So I do need to clean the tank, but I'm going to be putting EFI on here, the Holley system, so that's just going to happen anyway. This was my attempt at getting it running. That got it off the trailer and backed into where it was, and since then it's just been drug around the yard with chains. So I think it's about time. It's been sitting 2 or 3 years. I'm sure my wife just loves how this thing looks in the backyard. I know this leaks. I want to say it was up on the top somewhere. Never, I didn't hear. I think it might have been. It was dripping, just like, well, I wouldn't say dripping. It was just more so of a slight ooze. So that got it brazed up, took it out, got it brazed up and everything, and then it's going somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but it's whatever. We'll get that figured out too. Maybe get us a nice one in there. Shiny, fancy aluminum ones or something. I mean, we have to uninstall on this just fine craftsmanship here. Is this, wonderful? That used to be plastic. I'm not sure what you consider that now, but whatever. I believe they did a rebuild. It was my uncle's buddy. Don't have contact with him anymore, so we're guessing what all's going on here. Not really sure in any way, shape, or form what has been done, what will be done. Who knows? This is almost like buying a used vehicle. We don't know what we're starting with necessarily as far as the motor wise. So I know it's been rebuilt. Like I said, they rebuilt it, rode around the farm, and then I drove it for 6 months or so, and I turned 16. And I want to say, I would bet it doesn't have 1,500 miles, 1,500 miles on the rebuild, but it does now have almost 20 years on a rebuild. So there's that. Probably get into it a little further. Probably going, like I say, do EFI. Definitely going to upgrade the electronics and everything, the ignition system. Probably get in there, check the timing set, since these are known to be dogs. The factory timing, and I don't know if it was changed, that or factory timing set. Don't know if that was changed, so we'll get in there and change that. While we're doing that, probably go ahead and just throw a nasty little cam in there because you want it to sound good. And then probably do a new intake since we got it off anyway at that point. And who knows, headers. Maybe one day if we're feeling real froggy because it's Texas and it's 5,000 degrees most of the time, we'll work on this little bugger here. Worst case scenario, we'll save up our pennies and put some kind of vintage air or something. Who knows? I want to play with that. I guess that does bring me to a question. Put it out there on the internet. Don't know if any of y'all will comment or know or anything, but don't mind my defrosters there. I'm going to get in this thing and hope I don't piss something off. Kind of bringing y'all on my maiden voyage. Ow! Ow! Oh man, that crushed velvet, whatever that is, there is. It's nice, but it's got some static. So it's got this. Anybody know anything about that? It says Ford. It's got, oh man. Oh. Had a fuzzball come out from under the seat, and I think my heart stopped for a second. So that's Ford. We got fan speed here. We got your cooling, min and max, temperature-wise, basically. I've had this out. Obviously, I took all this off to do the painting here. But this, it looks like this was a hole here, and they kind of rough cut it. Like it looked like somebody did it with a hacksaw or something, and cut this out. And I'm pointing to the metal behind here, obviously, but it's almost like it was a factory option, or maybe not a factory option, but like a dealer option or something. I'm not really sure. So we got these controls, but I don't know. I don't know enough about these. There's so many options. I know back in the day there was factory stuff and there was dealer stuff and just aftermarket add-ons. But then this says Ford on it, so it's like, well, I don't know. Anybody has any information on it? Let me know. I would love to figure that out. And if it's Ford, then maybe I can get replacement parts for it. That's great. I would love to put it back as factory. But if not, we'll go with something different, I guess. Don't know. We'll figure that out. Probably going to make this into some kind of series or something. Every time I do one little part, kind of to build it up from nothing. So you got nice vents over there because, that AC doesn't work. Got a vent over there. Well, I was going to open that, but who knows what come out of that. So we're just going to pretend I'm not going to open that. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, got more fuses because, old truck things. Oh, let's see, we got any gems in here? Oof. Nope, she doesn't want to come out. We're just gonna leave her. Oh, look, look at that. I can basically just rebuild this truck. Look, there's like 3 nickels in there. I can make some money. There's a window latch that broke off a long time ago. That's a good place for that. Radius show fuel. Wow. So, you hear about that in landfills, how plastic takes 40 years to degrade. Well, look at there, that's starting to degrade. So, scientists, you are wrong. That is, let me just catalog that down there. Clean that off like it never happened. I didn't take this out. I actually just noticed that this is laying on the floor. That's, okay. I'm just going to put that in there and pretend we didn't see it. This is a piece of about 17 different columns to get the blinkers, get the shifter, get the horn. I remember Fun story, my uncle was driving this around and we were honking at cattle and the horn just turned on, wouldn't turn off. So we just ripped this out. Oh, ha ha, it's real funny. Turns out that sucked to find. This is a horn pad, getting a good one and all the pieces and everything to it. I don't understand why it was so difficult, but it took like, I don't know, I probably do have 5 or 6, not complete, but pieces and chunks and main portions of columns, but had them all taken apart, put all the pieces back together, the ones that worked, and here we go, we got a new one. No power steering, but that's a whole nother issue. Had the old, that's what the ratchet strap out there in the window was, getting it positioned in here. Just give her the old, and then give her the, yep, got her right into the end of the shed here, so I can, make my wife love that it's in front of the house now. But I think that's about it. And you see she needs a good wash, and I think that's probably what I'm about to do. Get it cleaned up. Making it shiny always makes it more motivating to get things done, and that's, I guess, gonna be step number 1. I'm excited. Y'all come back and let me know if anybody has any information at all. I've Googled the VIN. I've tinkered on this thing for years, like before I knew anything about anything really. So I'm open to it. I'm open to information, ideas, whatever. What's a good upgrades and this and that. And I think we're just going to start adding on and playing with it and trying to get her going, get her back roadworthy, and try to enjoy this thing. All right, thanks for watching, guys.